I had a few pages of notes on retirement, and originally I thought I might try something different for this session of Thoughts from an Old Man. Instead of a scripted episode, I was going to ad lib the video. Then I did a test session. Boy, was it a mess. And I tried a second time, same results, a bit of a mess. Then I realized that mess was practically the central theme of my notes. Retirement can be a mess. So I went back to my normal, scripted, thought out, edited version, and hopefully it'll work today. I'm Warren Lieberman, and welcome to Thoughts from an Old Man. The purpose of this channel is to share strange musings from an old man. In plain words, me yakking. I've been a student of life for over 80 years and have had experiences ranging from truck driver, veteran, salesman, and administrator of a large nonprofit religious organization. I've been awarded a bachelor's and master's degree in education, thanks to the GI Bill, and on occasion, as I've mentioned before, doer of stupid things. If you like Thoughts from an Old Man, please subscribe by clicking on the button on the bottom right of this screen. Hope you enjoy this episode of Thoughts from an Old Man on youtube.com at Warren Lieberman 1816. Now, when retirement comes, the end of a scripted, scheduled life ends, or at least changes. The scripted pattern of life starts early. Up early, breakfast, off to school, rigid day, planned periods of time with activities and classes and recess and what have you. Later, there's homework, dinner, and a little free time. Repeat 5 days a week for 12 or more years. Our work life has the same rigidity. Apply for the position, train, work, attend meetings, get feedback, advance, and sometimes move on to a similar pattern someplace else. Different place, different people, same pattern. Repeat several times before retirement. Retirement hits the brakes on a fixed schedule. You no longer need to go someplace 5 days a week. No deadlines, no projects to complete, no structure. The goal of work vanishes, and this leaves a void to be filled. This is where the problem of retirement begins. Many of us have a vague dream of retirement. Travel more time for family, golf, hobby, whatever. When the time comes to realize these goals, life has a way of modifying the dream. We didn't calculate life into our equation of retirement. Money, health, family needs, silly errands kill time. Something often gets in the way. My full retirement came mid 2020, and some of my plans for volunteer work evaporated. COVID struck. COVID struck my wife and me also, and for a few months, fog muddled our lives. Hey, do you need any masks? We still got lots left over. Purpose seems to evaporate on retirement. No calls from the office for help. Volunteer contacts dry up. Kids are too busy to see you today. Your buddy is still working. Your partner is off doing something else. All of a sudden, the structured days shrink. I remember one day about 6 months after I fully stopped working, a strange moment occurred. I was driving someplace and realized I didn't have to be anyplace after I got done with that last errand. I smiled, then thought, now what? That reminded me of something similar way back in 1964 when I dropped out of college. My father said, what next? It happened to be the Army. I was fortunate, for retirement that is. I had actually been planning for several years. First, I reduced my work hours to 32 hours per week. I did this by working one full week and then working one short week, and that gave me long weekends. Then a few years later, another reduction to about 15 hours a week. I began concentrating more on two hobbies of mine: photography and painting. My health began to play a more significant role in my life then, limiting my mobility, bad knees, two surgeries, and a lingering knee problem. At first, a few work projects from home from my old job, then nothing. I may have found freedom from a rigid schedule, but restraints still sneak in. Increased need to listen to your body, to rest, balance with more time to be creative and think, write, video, read, paint, just sit back and watch the world. Actually, the empty time suits me fine. I'm actually somewhat of an introvert, a quiet guy without a need to be the biggest voice in the room. I've done a few short term volunteer projects that gave me a sense of worth. A one off project is actually my cup of tea. Writing stuff for Thoughts from an Old Man releases some of my mental energy, both in writing, thinking, research, and editing, because even when you start a project, things change. You got to edit. My point is retirement is a goal, but the reality is much different. Not bad, just different. As an ordinary guy of modest means, some idealistic dreams are just dreams. An annual vacation is okay, but traveling months at a time or taking several trips during the year, just not in the plan. Don't get me wrong, I'm not planning to go back to work, but I occasionally do an internet job search, and if the right position became available, I might consider it, but only if it doesn't interfere with my other hobby, napping. I'll pass. If you enjoyed my retirement ramblings, please subscribe to Thoughts from an Old Man by clicking on the button on the bottom right of this corner of this screen. See you next time on YouTube. Remember, Thoughts from an Old Man who is still creating at 80 plus.